Hello and welcome back to Abhiram IAS Academy. In this video, we are going to discuss previous year questions of APPSC Group 1 2023 notification, the exam which was conducted in 2024. We have discussed almost 10 MCQs in the previous two sessions, and now we are going to discuss another 5 MCQs here. So the key themes, the strategies or the traps or techniques that APPSC is using since last two exams. So we are going to discuss here detailedly, that is PYQ analysis on polity, governance and IR areas. So before getting into the session, I would like to say one thing. Abhiram IAS Academy is coming up with Project Digvijaya, which is an intensive prelims test series program where you will be getting access to 28 sectional tests, 7 sectional full length tests, 8 simulated tests, and this program is going to start on August 31st, 2026. Currently, it is running on launching offer, which is at 40% offer, which an MRP is 10,000 rupees. However, on 40% offer, you are getting this course at only at 5,999, which is around 6,000 rupees. So, next. Now let's get into the MCQs here. As of now, we have discussed from 30th to 40th MCQ. Now we are going to discuss the MCQ 41, which is on India's foreign policy. So the first question here is, the examiner is stressing your knowledge on international relations and your awareness on the various Indian foreign policies that Ministry of External Affairs or Indian government is bringing up on historically, whether it is Look-East policy and its evolution into Act-East policy and its Central Asia Connect policy or other quadrilateral dialogue, how it is like engaging with the West and East. So, to test your international relations awareness, the APPSC also involved international relations syllabus in its polity unit, polity component. So, the question is asked from 6th unit of polity component. So, the first question here is, it is very interesting question. So, the question here is, consider the following statements with regard to India's foreign policy, which is very straight. The first statement he is asking here, India's Act-East policy was originally conceived as an economic initiative but had later extended into political, strategic and cultural dimensions. Now, if you go back to history of Indian foreign policy, first, India has brought Look-East policy. I hope you are aware of Look-East policy. Look-East policy was brought in 1990s by P.V. Narasimha Rao sir, to enlarge or to integrate India's economic relations into global area. For example, in 1990, we have brought LPG reforms, liberalization, privatization and globalization, and you all are aware of these LPG reforms. So the objective of this LPG reforms is to integrate Indian economy into the global trade, the global economy. So in an effort to integrate Indian economy and to expand India's exports and Indian economy into the East Asia and Southeast Asia, the P.V. Narasimha Rao sir has tried to brought Look-East policy, where the primary objective of this Look-East policy is to enlarge or to engage India's international relations in Southeast Asia and East Asian nations. So this Look-East policy was continuing, and in the 2014, after the Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi has came into force, he has brought Act-East policy in continuation of Look-East policy. So this was originally conceived as an economic initiative only, but had later extended to political, strategic and cultural dimensions. Currently, it is Act-East policy, not Look-East policy, and this statement is true. There is nothing wrong to reject this statement, and this is true. The Connect Central Asia policy here, he is asking the Connect Central Asia policies. The Connect Central Asia policy has been taken forward with institutionalization of the India Central Asia Summit Mechanism. Okay, the third statement. Under the security and growth for all in the region, which is Sagar policy, the DRDO initiated, under Sagar policy, DRDO initiated the Maitri for the purpose of establishing long-term collaboration with countries in the East Asia region. Okay, we can suspect this statement because he's saying that Sagar policy, under the Sagar policy, DRDO initiated the Maitri. Okay, we can suspect it. India's Think West policy is an outreach to the Western industrialized nations for strengthening of relations in areas of education and defense. So actually, India's Think West policy has brought uh, to develop our international relations, especially in the West Asia. West Asia. But here he's saying that Western industrialized nations for strengthening in areas of education and defense. This is wrong statement. So we can eliminate 4 here. So 4, 4. So 2 and 4 options are eliminated here. And we have 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. Obviously 1 is correct. So we can directly go for option number 1. So let's check its analysis in the next slide. India's foreign policy and its analysis. The correct answer here is 1 and 2. Yes, so look east began with strong economic focus and act east broadened engagement into strategic, political, security and cultural dimensions. This is right. Second is also right. And third, fourth is incorrect as we discussed. Next. The question number, so please pause for a minute and read this slide. You will get to understand why the third and fourth is incorrect and why first and second is correct. Next, if we get into the second question, which is question number 42 of 2024 question paper. It was asked on India's maritime and strategic security. Again, it related to international relations question. So the APPSC is frequently and almost every year 2 to 3 questions are asking from international relations area. So this is second question that we are discussing from the area of international relations. So the question here is, so please pause for a minute before hearing the answer. You can stop for a moment and solve this MCQ and get back to the video again, so that you will be engaging in this MCQ session. The second question is, let's read the statement here. Which of the following statements can best describe the nature of security concerns or developments for India? Okay. The first statement that the examiner is saying, the development of the Hambantota development zone can be seen or viewed as a policy of containment funded by Pakistan. Okay, generally the basic awareness we have, Hambantota port, where is this port is located? This port, Hambantota port is located in Sri Lanka. Okay, and this Hambantota and the port development is sponsored, funded and invested by the Chinese government, China, right? But it is saying that Pakistan. So this is the trap. It's a deliberate trap set up by APPSC Group 1 examiner to confuse you. So we all should be careful at each and every word till the end of the statement. So this is not funded by Pakistan. This was funding by the funding for the Hambantota port is getting from China. So first statement is wrong. We can outrightly eliminate this statement. So where option 1 is there. So I can delete the fourth option because it is all, but it is, yeah. Next, second statement, India's support in building the Chabahar port in Iran may serve as a strategic act. Okay, it's right. To balance the Chinese funded Gwadar port in Yemen. Okay, Gwadar port is funded by China. I agree. And India is supporting in building Chabahar port in Iran. That is also correct. But he's saying that Gwadar port is located in Yemen. Yes, this is trap. It was not located in Yemen, it is Pakistan. So just imagine, like he's what kind of traps he is keeping. Where China should be there, he put Pakistan. Where Pakistan should be there, he is keeping as Yemen. So he is giving wrong locations. So that is a trap here. We should be careful in the next upcoming examination also. So we can delete the second statement also, so that I can eliminate option number 2. Next, we have only 4 and none. Let's read the only 4 here. The Malabar exercise, we no need to read this one because we have only 2 options remaining, which is only 4 or none. If we crack the only 4 statement, we can arrive at first option here. The only 4 thing is the Malabar exercise is connected with the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, QSD. Yeah, it's true. What is called like India, US, Japan and Australia. So, this quadrilateral security dialogue and maritime exercise is also conducted by only these 4 nations: India, US, Japan and Australia. Right? India, US, Japan and Australia. So Malabar exercise is conducted by India, US, Japan and Australia, and quadrilateral is also dialogue is also India, US, Japan and Australia. So obviously it is true. So it is connected with quad. I can go for only 4 here. So let's check the answer once. The answer here is only 4. Option statement 1 is incorrect, statement 2 is incorrect, statement 3 is also incorrect. Please pause for a moment and read this analysis, read this slide. You will get to know why those 3 statements are eliminated, why only the 4th option is correct. Then you will get the clarity on how to identify the deliberate traps that APPSC is setting up and how to arrive at a right answer. Okay, next get into the 43rd question here, which is central government programs. Let's read the question here. Please pause for a moment and read this question and solve the answer here. Okay, and be careful in reading each and every word. The first question here is, in the context of central government programs, which statement or statements are incorrect? So generally we expect which statements are correct to be asked. But here the examiner is trying to ask which statements are incorrect. But we overlook this thing and we will think by default it is a examiner is asking what is correct, but not. He is saying which are incorrect. Okay, it is also like to confuse you. Okay, which is incorrect. First statement: the objective of Pradhan Mantri Anushit Jati Abhyuday Yojana. The objective of Pradhan Mantri Anushit Jati Yojana, which is PM Ajay scheme, is aimed at reducing the poverty of the ST communities by generating additional employment opportunities. Okay. See, actually it is not ST, it is SC, scheduled caste. So this is wrong. Next, under the Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandan Yojana, monthly contribution is payable by the beneficiary, state government and the central government. He is saying that the contribution to this particular scheme is contributed by three stakeholders. One is beneficiary, one is state government, and one is central government. It is very suspicious. Pradhan Mantri in one single scheme, either central government and state government will contribute to particular scheme. But here he is saying beneficiary also contributes to that particular scheme. So obviously it is incorrect. Under the next third statement here, under the Future Skills Prime Program, Center for Development of Advanced Computing, which is CDAC, is the key implementing agency. Okay, so generally institutions are, it's a like generally any public service commissions keeps trap here. They'll give wrong ministry, they'll give wrong institution. For example, where the Ministry of Skill Development should be given, they give Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So that's how they keep trap. So that's how they'll just misplace the ministry to trap us, to make us choose the wrong answer. So we can always be careful in that area. So here he's saying that under the Future Skills Prime Program, CDAC is the key implementing agency. So it is suspicious whether CDAC is the implementing agency for that. No, because it is like Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology is the implementing agency for this Future Skills Prime program. So it is wrong. Next, fourth statement, Mission Karmayogi comprises of 8 key pillars that are intended to create functional and behavioral competencies among the civil servants. See, again, he's saying 8 key pillars, but it is not 8, it is 6 key pillars. Only like Mission Karmayogi comprises of 6 key pillars. He's saying 8. It is wrong. So almost all are wrong. We can go for option number 3, all, because he's asking which are incorrect. All are incorrect. So I'll choose third option. Let's check the answer here. Correct answer is 3, all. So first is incorrect, second is incorrect, third is incorrect, fourth is incorrect. So please pause for a moment and read this slide. You'll get to know what is the right answer here. Next, get into quickly the another question. Question number 44. Enactment of the Union Budget. In the context of the enactment of the budget, which of the following statements are valid? See, first we have to have a basic understanding of the budgeting process, the enactment of the budget, where it starts and how the budget gets formulated finally. So let's briefly understand here the process of budget making. First, the presentation of the budget. Presentation of the budget by the Union Finance Minister in Lok Sabha, and next general discussion will happen. General discussion will happen in both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Once general discussion is completed, it will send it to scrutiny by departmental standing committees. Departmental standing committees scrutiny. Next, in the fourth stage, it will, once standing committee scrutinization is completed, next they will come for voting on demand for grants. Voting on demand for grants. So here we have to be careful. For any budget, the voting will be happen, for voting for demand for grants will happen only in the Lok Sabha, not Rajya Sabha. But here the examiner will keep voting for grants will also happen in the Rajya Sabha. So it's a trap. We should be careful in each and every word. Voting for demand for grants happens only in the Lok Sabha. So we should be aware of this fact. Next, once voting is completed, next, the passing of the appropriation of bill. Passing of the appropriation of bill. So this is the overall the process of budget making. We should keep it in mind before solving this MCQ. So that's why, when you are very good at basics, when you are very strong in your fundamental topics, fundamentals, obviously you could crack any MCQ. You can crack any MCQ. So you should be very, very strong in your fundamentals. So please revise your basics. Please go back to your NCERTs. Please go back to your standard books. Please go back to your class notes. Don't read multiple sources. Just stick to your class notes, stick to your NCERTs, stick to your standard books, and please do revise, and obviously your accuracy in solving MCQ will get improved and your overall score will get improved. So this is the only mantra you have to follow. So come back to the question here. So this is the static information. Now solve this MCQ. So what is the first statement here? Yeah, in the context, the area is enactment of the Union Budget. In the context of the enactment of budget, which of the following statements are valid? So appropriation bill carries an automatic repeal clause. So it is very new actually. It is very tough thing. We don't know automatic repeal clause. What does it really mean? Next, okay, let's keep it on hold. The provision vote on account has become ineffectual after the rescheduling of the budget cycle from the last day of February to the first day of February. See, just because of rescheduling of the budget cycle, just because of change in introduction of budget from the last day of February to first day of February, that doesn't mean any vote on account provision should become ineffectual. I don't think this is right statement. This is looking very suspicious. So I'll eliminate this thing. Next, third statement. Amendments to either reject or reduce a tax cannot be moved in the case of finance bill. Cannot be moved in case of finance bill. Fourth statement, the expenditure charged on the consolidated fund of India can only be discussed. Okay, yeah, it's true. It can only be discussed. So, because the charged expenditure should not subject to vote on account anmata, should not be voted, but only be discussed in the Lok Sabha. So, fourth statement is true. Fourth should be there in option that we choose. Here 4 is not there, here 4 is not there. Here 1 and 4 is there, here only 4 is there. So, appropriation bill carries an automatic repeal clause. I don't think so. It will carries an automatic repeal clause. I'll go for only 4. It is a risky thing, but I'll go for only 4 because I think, when an examiner is trying to complicate a particular question, uh, we should be very careful in that particular statement. Most of the times it will be wrong. So I'll safely choose fourth option here, which is only 4. So first is incorrect, second is incorrect, third is incorrect, and fourth is correct here. Please pause for a moment and read the slide here. You'll get to know why first 3 statements are incorrect and only fourth statement is correct. Next, veto power of the Indian president. So I think you're all aware of veto powers of the Indian president, the type of veto powers we have mentioned in the Indian constitution. The type of veto powers that president has. Yeah, the types of veto. Just we'll go back to the static information. The types of veto. One is absolute veto. The second is suspensive veto. Next is pocket veto. The fourth is qualified veto. So what is absolute veto here? See, in absolute veto, the president withhold the assent. President withhold the assent. In a suspensive veto, president sends back the bill for reconsideration. And what is pocket veto? So it's this pocket veto where president does not take any action. That means there is no constitutional limit by which time the president has to take action on that particular veto. There is no constitutional mandate or constitutional the obligation on the president of India. He can simply keep that particular bill in his pocket and stay mute. So that is the pocket veto here. The qualified veto. See, the qualified veto is the legislature can override the the legislature can see the qualified veto here is the legislature can override the president's veto by a specified majority. So this is the types of vetoes we have, but in Indian context we only have absolute veto, suspensive veto, and pocket veto. This qualified veto we don't have. Our president did not possess the power of qualified veto here. It belongs to United States of America. Now solve this MCQ. Let's erase this thing. So what he is asking here, veto power of the Indian president. In connection with the veto power of Indian president, which one of the following statements are valid? So Indian president possesses suspensive veto in the case of money bills, but not in the case of finance bills. See, the suspensive veto is nothing but sending back a particular bill to the Lok Sabha for the reconsideration. Okay, but in money bill, this suspensive veto is not applied. Because why? Because a money bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha with the prior consent of the President of India. So that suspensive veto will not apply here. So obviously it's a wrong statement. We can easily eliminate this statement number 1. So where statement 1 is there, in option 2 is there. Okay, we can eliminate this option 2 here and read the second statement. Indian president can exercise absolute veto with respect to the government bills at all times. Wrong. So the government bills in mostly, see, president can exercise absolute veto on government bills, but it is not all times, and generally absolute veto is exercised by the President of India when only the private member bill is getting passed, or private member introduces particular bill. So only in those times the president can exercise absolute veto, and it is not at all times. So it is wrong statement. So we can also eliminate statement number 2 here. So that option 4 is eliminated, and we have only 3 and 4. Only 3 and 3 and 4. So 3 is obviously right, because the Indian president enjoys pocket veto indefinitely, whereas the American president possesses qualified veto. Okay. The fourth option here, it is a determinant. If we crack this statement number 4, the answer is arrived. The objective of the veto power in being conferred upon the Indian president is to ensure a system of checks and balances between the office of the president and that of the parliament. Yes, the veto power, to ensure checks and balances, veto power is there. So statement 4 is right. So we can go for option 3 here. So answer is 3 and 4. Let's check the answer. 3 and 4, it's true. The first is incorrect, second is incorrect, 3 and 4 is correct. So dear students, please pause for a moment and read this slide. You'll get to understand why the answer is 3 and 4 and why 1 and 2 is incorrect. Okay, so these are the 5 MCQs that was given in the previous year examination from across various topics, which are very interesting questions and obviously not easy questions. It is really the difficult questions we have solved now, not just the moderate questions. Many of the questions are difficult here, and many of the questions we observed here is the 4 statements and the lengthy questions. Yeah, and we also we'll come back to this thing. I would like to share this news with you once more. Abhiram IAS Academy is coming up with Project Digvijaya, which is an intensive prelims test series program where we will be providing 4,400 plus expert curated MCQs from the subject matter experts itself, where 28 sectional tests will be provided, 7 sectional full length tests will be provided, and 8 simulated tests will be provided. So by end of the day, you will be solving 4,000 plus MCQs here. And you will be getting the mentorship support at Abhiram IAS Academy till you clear the prelims examination. And once you clear the prelims, you will also be getting access to the mentorship support also here. And the third thing, the exclusive thing is, we are providing test discussions. So generally test discussions are ignored, but test discussions will help us in understanding what mistakes we have done in that particular test. So we are also providing test discussions in this program. So for joining this course, please do contact the below mentioned number here. And currently this program is available at 40% offer, where the MRP is 10,000 rupees and we are providing it is at only 6,000 rupees. So thank you for watching this session.